Can you repeat that?
Oi festivalching.
Oi festivalching.
Oi festivalching.
Oi festivalching.
Oi festivalching.
Oi festivalching.
What if history were different?
King Edward, I have terrible news. My mother's forcing me to marry.
Jane, this marriage protects us.
Will you intervene?
I've already approved it. Nobody cares what you want.
Yeah, so it was kind of as normal auditions go. It was a self-tape first. And I don't think I got the script at that stage. I think it was just the scenes, and then was able to see who was attached to it, and like that was enough of a draw at that stage to see like the amazing creative team behind it. And then had a recall on Zoom, which was with Jamie, the director, Gemma, Burgess, Meredith, Laurie, and I think that might have been it, and with the casting director. So a lot of the execs and the creative team behind it, and then I heard that I'd gotten it, and I think I was so delighted to be doing a job that like was led by women. I think I remember feeling so comfortable when I came out of the Zoom recall, and I was like, why did I feel so comfortable in that? And I think immediately it was a knowledge that because it was an all-female room, which I feel as a woman it feels so much more creative to be. And you kind of, it feels like you have to fight less to be in a room that is all women. So that felt fantastic, yeah.
No, this is the first time I've heard about My Lady Jane, the book. So when I was cast, I was like, okay, let me read this book. Read it all, absolutely loved it. Loved the magical elements, loved getting to know King Edward and what he likes, what he dislikes, his relationship with his sister, with Lady Jane Grey. Yeah, it helps massively to create King Edward, because I was kind of struggling with where to go first. Like, I could Google King Edward, but it will only give me so much. So reading the book helps massively.
Well, I mean, period dramas are always attractive just because of the aesthetic.
Have you actually done many period dramas?
I've done, yes, a few.
Right.
I did 1, 2, maybe 3. Well, the aesthetic of them, the costumes, the sets, da-da-da-da-da. With this, it was that lovely combination of that, but such a fresh, modern, zesty script. And then the character that I was asked to play was a little bit different to what I normally get asked, in as much as he was manipulative and scheming, and I don't often get offered that sort of thing.
So I was on the subway in New York City, and I saw a young girl reading the book, and she was reading it like this. So I just thought any book that someone's reading like that must be amazing. So I read it just as a fan for myself. And then when I read it, I fell completely in love and realized that it had to be a television show, and I wanted to make it.
I didn't know the book before I got cast, and then I didn't read the book when I got cast, because I think the character of Mary is quite different.
It's different, yeah.
From the book to the series. So I concentrated more on who Mary was in the world of the series. But I hear it's a great book, and I think I started it and then stopped because it was apparent that Mary's quite different.
What about you, Anna?
What did I like?
Yes.
I just think the whole package for me was just so fun. The beautiful clothes, the great actors, the fantastic sets, and it's funny. So I think it was really like a God-given opportunity to go to work. I was running to work. I'd be getting out of my car, running to work. I couldn't wait to get to work.
And when Gemma wrote the pilot, it was sent to me, and I was just blown away by the way that she, not only her tone of voice, but her brilliance on the page, but the way that she presented this world that was so different than anything I'd seen. So I read the book myself, also fell in love, but at the center of it was Lady Jane Grey, who I've been obsessed with since I was a kid, and Gemma's been obsessed with since she was a kid. And then when we talked about that, and we realized how much we've always loved this character and how much we had in common, it was just a no-brainer, especially because you can romanticize Jane's tragic life when you're a kid yourself, when you're a preteen or teenager yourself. But then when you're a little bit older, you take a second look at what her life really was like, and you think, wow, that's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
What if she, instead of being a victim, saves herself?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't familiar with the
But
book.
when we heard about the book, it was 3 women wrote the book. It's a community.
Yeah.
It's incredible what they achieved, and it's on the bestseller list and everything. So it's a well-known book, but I hadn't read it.
Well, there was a lot of there was a lot of training to do for the fight scenes that come kind of later on, and yeah, our stunt coordinator was amazing in going over and over and over and over again with me on that, because I needed to. I mean, I had done like some fight training at drama school, but nothing to this level. And like, you know, there's some scenes where I'm like fighting with axes and having to like fight off maybe like 9 or 10 stuntmen, and that's obviously not something I'd ever done before. So he was very patient with me and took the time to go over and over again, to practice it over and over again. It was important to me to like learn the history, like the actual history of Lady Jane Grey, and then see how we were changing that and how the script adapted it. And then like reading the book was really beneficial as well. But I think a lot of that kind of research that you do, it's important to do it, and then you have to let it go and just commit to the script and what's written down on the page.
Pinterest. I went down a deep hole Pinterest.
Yes.
Yeah. Kings of like English kings or African kings, and how they sit on their throne, and how they what they like to wear, how they move so gracefully, and also, like I said before, the book helped a lot to build King Edward. Yeah.
I concentrated on kind of trying to find what the tone was. So the reference points Gemma and Meredith and Jamie gave were like Princess Bride, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. So for me, it was just finding out where to pitch Mary in terms of the comic villain kind of thing. So I concentrated more on that, having had initial conversations about the real Mary, doing a bit of research on that, but it just goes in a different direction. So yeah, figuring out who Mary was, how the character of Mary served my Lady Jane.
Well, I did the thing that when I've played characters from history before, I did a thing set in Napoleonic times, and I played a real person. So I sent off for a book about him and then didn't read it. And in this instance, I sent off for a book about Lord Dudley, and I didn't read it.
No, they look too hard, don't they?
It's just not me. I'm not Daniel Day-Lewis. I just go with what's in the script. I think, here's me, here's the character, where do they overlap? And I try and make that then a satisfying entity.
Sometimes reading those history books, you just lose what's happening. There are a few dates, somebody marries somebody and then marries somebody else, and then you're like turning back the pages.
Well, from the book to the script, it was, I mean, the tone was so inspiring and the character of Jane was incredible. So writing her into a script was fantastic. In terms of challenges filming, it was probably the English weather. So we film outside a lot, as you've seen, and English weather was not always very friendly.
Not our friend, especially at Dover Castle, that if you ever have the opportunity to film at night in Dover Castle in November,
Think again.
Maybe think again, although Dover Castle is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So beautiful.
They were amazing, and like what was fantastic is it's such an ensemble cast that there were so many people to meet and chat to every day, and also that, you know, there's so many kind of characters that come in and out as well. So you'd have a couple of days with one person and then you're with someone else, and it was fantastic. And like so many of my like people I admire were working on this show, like Rob Brydon and Kate O'Flynn, Anna Chancellor, like all these actors whose work I've watched and loved for years, and then to see them working in real life on set, I feel like I learned so much from that.
Hot. Electric.
I mean, you had to do a lot of steamy scenes, didn't you?
I don't know if you call them steamy. But no,
It was really out there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, fantastic chemistry between Jane and Guildford.
Yeah,
Jane, well, I don't know what we can say. And then, you know, I think everyone really clicked so well.
Yeah.
It had a big hand in that. But yeah, we all got on, and I think that comes across on the screen.
Yeah.
That,
We got on.
Well, up to a point. No, really.
We were the oldest people on set, but we were basically the parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were the senior figures. No, we think we may have met once years ago in a voiceover studio.
I can't remember.
But I would say we hit it off from the word go. Anna is a wonderful actress, so clever, on this, knows about cameras and all that. And just, if you watch her in this, she gets everything out of every moment she's on screen. I loved what she did with the part, and I loved our scenes together. I'm not just saying that because she's there. I go around telling everybody she's my favourite thing in it. So I do, yeah.
No, it was very nice for us to be together.
They kind of just burst out on the page right away.
Absolutely.
Many of the characters are, of course, in the book, so taking them from page to script was very straightforward, and then giving them more life and giving them more story, because 8 hours of television is a lot of story. It was just a joy.
Jane is flawed, but she's so relatable. She's a young woman who doesn't have any power and desperately wants to live her own life, and she desperately wants to be independent. And she lives in a world that will not allow her to do that, and then is given the ultimate power.
I loved filming. There's a scene between me and Jane in the camp later on, and I think it might be episode 3. And it was a really it's quite a heartfelt scene, and I think it's Susanna finally getting the moment to explain to Jane about her past and her history. Obviously, these two girls are they've spent a lot of their teenage lives together and have grown up together. Yet there's been a kind of secret and a past that Susanna, my character, has had to hide, and not against her will, she hasn't been able to kind of express this to Jane, and then finally she gets that moment to do that. And I remember I loved that day of filming, and I think Emily was so generous with her work, and we were able to, I think we had built such a friendship at that point that came through with our characters, that it felt just like quite a special experience filming that scene.
I just remember not knowing where the hell it was going in the most exciting way. Every page was a surprise, and I loved the humour of it, and that you couldn't place it in any one genre excited me.
Yeah, it was the humour for me. Yeah, I was laughing out loud.
What's your favourite thing about your character?
Well, I like being a bit of a bitch. I do.
Yeah. And I like scheming. So maybe it's the same thing. It's getting to play something a little darker and a little bit malevolent. I like that.
The thing is, in our lives, we're meant to be good, aren't we? Yeah. We try and be good, we try and be kind, but then you get given up. This is why it's privileged to be an actor, because then you can completely take the gloves off. And you can be your shadow side, your dark side, the side that you have to keep in a box, and it can all come out, and you get paid, and everyone says, well done,
You get paid?
Yeah. It's a release. It's a release of your dark.
I had no idea. I'm going to speak to my agent.
Well, we hope that the audience will find the show sharp-tongued, warm-hearted, and above all, entertaining.
We hope that it makes them laugh as much as we made one another laugh while writing it.
Yeah, I think a lot of the fight scenes felt really rewarding. We had a real big fight scene, and there was, stuntmen coming in on horses in massive armour and dressed as knights, and all of that was just quite mad because it felt so real, and you're in very close, and that felt so I never thought that I'd be able to do that, but then when you kind of just go with it and run with the adrenaline, and I think that's something I never thought I'd be able to do. That was able to come to life in a really precise and brilliant way.
There are many themes and messages, I think, in the series. The metaphor of atheism is pretty clear. But most of all, we want to make this show for young women to understand that being a young woman is incredibly complicated, and it's not just about love. It's about love and family, friendship, ambition. It's very hard to be a young woman in the world right now, and it was hard in 1553.
We wanted to tell a story where compassion wins. Mm-hmm. That was really important to us. Intelligent optimism.
Hi everyone, please watch My Lady Jane on Prime Video.
We can't wait to see you there, Brazil.
Yeah, watch it.
I hope everyone in Brazil really enjoys My Lady Jane.
We'd love you to watch My Lady Jane on Prime
Video.